Alright, so I've never made a guide before, but I chose to do it for HAWKEYE for my first ever one, which is kind of fitting. But please keep in mind that this is my first ever guide, so I might not be the best at making guides, but I will love some feedback in the comments. But in this video, we're going to go over how to perfect release, right? Because that is a thing that's been requested a ton. I'm going to show you the two ways to do it. There is the beginner's way, and then there is my way to do it. Then we're going to go over the best rotations for HAWKEYE because he has a lot of different rotations depending on the health pools and the type of fight that you are going against. Additionally, we're going to go over the best synergies because he has a ton of synergies and they all just depend on like the certain fight you're doing, the certain health pool at sometimes, and they really just make a pretty big difference when it comes to HAWKEYE. So yeah, let's just not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with how to perfect release because this has been requested a ton, and I'm going to first start off by just showing you some clips of perfect releasing, and then I'm going to go over what exactly is going on in the video. So right here, this is the SP1 perfect release right there, and then we have the SP2 one, and you know, you've seen it before, but now I'm going to go into how to actually do it. So to perfect release, you want to press down on the left side of the screen, which is the block side, after the first hit to slow down time. Keep it pressed, and then when the arrow light flashes, let go of the screen. The third little bit there is for the second part of the perfect release, which is how I do it, right? Which is I just never activate the slow down time mechanic, and I just utilize the lit up arrow. But let's go over the beginner's way first, right? So you can see right here, arrow flashes, you let go, right? Now for the SP2, you're going to see right here, the arrow flashes, you let go. Just keep rinsing and repeating that and you will eventually get it down, right? Flashes, let go. And this is like in really slow motion. It's going to be a bit harder to see like in a regular fight, but when it's slowed down, it's really easy in my opinion. So I've never utilized the slowdown time mechanic, right? Just like ever since the buff came out, I've never used it. I just like kind of instinctively know when to perfect release now. Like I don't even need to slow down time because I just like know when to do it. Like right here, that's just, it's much harder to do when it's like in fast motion. But now let me slow it down for you because look, it still just comes down to the arrow flashing and me just letting go. I know how to instinctively do it at this point. So like I know the perfect time to release, but it's not a flex. That's kind of a sad thing because it just like shows how much I play HAWKEYE. But once you learn like to just let go when the arrow flashes, you will be fine. You will get a 80 to 90% like rate on your perfect release. For me, I think I have like a 90 to 95% like rate on my perfect release. Of course, I want to get it to like a 99%. Of course, it can be 100% because that like means you will never miss for the rest of your life, which is just a very rare thing to happen, you know. But yeah, that is how you perfect release. Those are like the best indicators to show when to release. But now let's talk about the most important part of HAWKEYE's kit, in my opinion, which is the SP3 minigame. This just requires perfect timing, like more perfect than the perfect release timing, actually. Once you get down the rhythm of it, though, like just instinctively remember when to do it, you will get it like pretty much all the time, and it is a very good mechanic to master because this is like the best thing about HAWKEYE, the SP3 bleeds. So yeah, can't really give any tips on like how to do it though. It's just like once you keep practicing it, it will just like come to you and you'll just know when to do it. So that concludes part one. Now let's go over part two, which is the best rotations for HAWKEYE. So there are three main rotations. For the general short, like medium fights, like Battlegrounds, Alliance Warpath fights, Alliance War mini bosses, pretty much, Act 7 fights, it is just SP2 repeat. Just keep dropping the SP2 because the Fragiles provide a lot of damage output, and the SP3, I feel like it's more for long fights. When you want a power control, you just want to repeat the SP1, and it'll just be a very good source of power control. It's like best with the Hercules synergy, but we'll go over that in the third part. And for long fights, like I mentioned, you just want to go for the SP3, just repeat that, get the bleeds up, and it'll just do a lot for you. So yeah, now let's go over some like example fights on like the best rotations. So here's the example of a short / medium fight. This is just a Diablo in Act 7. I think he has Footloose. But yeah, just go for the SP2, repeat that, get the Fragiles up, and it'll provide a very nice damage bonus for both the bleeds and your just overall regular hits. For me, this is the best rotation because like SP3 does take like a lot of time off the fight time, especially in like Battlegrounds. So yeah, like you can see right here, we're hitting like 11k mediums, which is very solid. It gets further increased with the second SP2. So yeah, just overall, I feel like he is a very solid champion when it comes to short and medium fights. and in power control fights too, because I'm going to show you that rotation right now. But yeah, overall, not too bad of a fight time. Now let's go over the power control rotation. So for this, you just want to keep dropping the SP1, just keep repeating that. A little bit of a nitpicky thing here, maybe try to take more blocked hits to get more power, just like, you know, just really nitpicky, but it does help. Like, I realize that it does kind of help, just like taking more blocked hits to gain more power. Of course, as like your ranks progress, you get more combat power rate. So a rank 5 6-star Hawkeye, rank 4 Hawkeye is very good at power control, while the rank 1 will kind of struggle a little bit. But yeah, overall, just a very good power controller in my opinion. I forgot to mention I have a rank 4 Hawkeye. I do not have a rank 5 one just yet. But now let's go over the long fight rotation here, which is just use SP3 and then just go to town, man, because the critical bleeds will just do so much work for you. Yeah, it is just quite amazing how potent they are. That's 4.8k every tick, so about like 10,000 every second. And it can get further increased with some synergies, but that is for the third part of this video. So yeah, just SP3, repeat that. Try to hit them as much as possible to get the pause on the bleeds to maximize your damage output. That goes for every fight though, just like not only the long fights, it goes for every single fight that you do with Hawkeye. But yeah, it's a bit hard to do it here because Dr. Doom of the Gauntlet has this glance node, which is very annoying. But yeah, you've seen this fight already in the first Hawkeye video, so I'm not going to show the whole part. But that is all of the Hawkeye rotations. Now, while I think Hawkeye is a great character by himself, the synergies really do a lot for him, so let's just go over all of the best ones they need to know about. So the absolute best, 100%, just like flat out the best synergy is the Darkhawk one, because it gives plus 40% damage over time debuff potency. And that's important because it's not just bleed, it is every damage over time debuff, right? So the Tigra poison ones, the Wiccan rupture ones, those get increased as well, and it's just a massive help for Hawkeye overall. So yeah, 100%, that is the best synergy. Now let's go into some more synergies. For more bleed damage, you can just put the Black Panther Civil War synergy or the Black Widow Deadly Origin one, because the Black Panther one increases the bleed damage and the Black Widow one increases the bleed duration by up to 40%, which is very, very strong. For a power drain Hawkeye, Hercules is the best synergy because it provides a pretty nice jury buff for a very long time every time you power drain the opponent over a bar. So now let's talk about when you want to switch your damage output. If you want a poison Hawkeye, you can go for the Tiger synergy because it just converts all your bleeds into poisons. They can be critical as well, and they also pause on your basic attacks. Same thing with the ruptures for Wiccan, but this one only applies to bleed immune opponents, which in my opinion is better than the Tiger one because like it's just way more like reliable, right? Just keep in mind though, the Wiccan synergy is bugged right now because the SP3 ruptures do not crit. I have looked into it. I have told some content creators to like report the bug to Gapam, but they haven't responded yet. So yeah, just keep in mind that synergy is bugged. The SP1 and the SP2 still do critical ruptures, but not the SP3 for some reason. So yeah, now let's go over some more synergies. For the Recall Masteries, Nick Fury is the best synergy to have because it gives him poison immunity, and if you add Deadpool Exorts, you get the bleed purified as well. So you just have like no issues with Recall Masteries at all. Hawkeye, in my opinion, is a very Recall Masteries friendly character when he has Nick Fury. And then for very long fights, you want to put the Taskmaster synergy on because for every perfect release that you do after the SP3 is thrown, you get 20% bleed duration increase, which is massive. That is a lot of bleed duration increase. But it's only for long fights in my opinion, so it's not the most usable synergy in general. Now this one is very niche, but it's also very good. Whenever you want to pause your slow debuff for any reason, the King Groot synergy is very, very good in my opinion because it lets you pause your slow for like up to 18 seconds whenever you throw a special attack. So yeah, very good overall. Now we're going to show the synergies in play. This right here is the Mysterio fight from last time, but now I have the Hercules synergy to help increase my damage output throughout the fight. And it's a very nice synergy. I like the damage bonus it provides. It's a very potent 20% Fury, and it lasts for 20 seconds as well. So it's a pretty nice bonus, and this is important because in general, I do not recommend the Recall Masteries when you're running a power drain Hawkeye. When you are power draining the opponent and you're going for the SP1 spam, I do not think it is a good idea to run the Recall Masteries, right? So the Fury buffs play a huge part in increasing the damage output while you're power draining. So just keep that in mind. That's why I think very highly of this synergy. So yeah, a very nice damage increase for Hawkeye overall. Now let's go over the Tiger synergy. So Hercules has 50% bleed resistance, right, which is pretty big, so you don't really want to bleed him, but he only has 15% poison resistance. So it's a better idea to poison him, right? So when you have the Tiger synergy, the poisons do a lot more damage than the bleeds do when you're facing like a champ like Hercules, right? Or if you're facing a bleed immune opponent, of course it's a better idea to have the poisons up, right, so you can actually do damage. So yeah, overall, a very good synergy in my opinion. It really lets HAWKEYE like increase the amount of fights he can do. If he was just a bleeder, he'd be very like restricted when it comes to the fights he can do. But he can access both poison and rupture, so he just can take so many fights, man. It's quite insane how many fights he can take, and I just love it. I feel like he is a very versatile champion when it comes to both utility and forms of damage output. So yeah, I just love HAWKEYE, man. He is such a capable character. And he is just super underrated, in my opinion, to this day. But yeah, overall, very, very nice synergy. And now let's go over the Wiccan one, which is the newest one to come out. This one is very nice because it lets you rupture the opponent, which is a very unique debuff that almost no one is immune to, right? So it's just a very fun time. Keep in mind that the SP3 is bugged, so you can't use the SP3 with the Wiccan synergy, which is very annoying, but overall, it's still a very good synergy. Kabam will fix the bug soon, I hope. But now let's talk about the slow pausing synergies. So right here, the slow is taking its duration, but now it's paused, right, for 12 seconds after we drop the special attack. And now we can just do our basic attacks to keep the bleeds paused. We don't have to worry about doing a heavy attack at all. And it's just a very like luxury thing. It feels very nice to not have to worry about like heavy attacking every so often. We keep it paused with the SP1, then we can just keep, you know, doing our basic attacks, just keep pausing the bleeds, and yeah, overall, the synergy is very nice. Like, that one slow stayed on for the entire fight, which is just pretty amazing overall. But yeah, that concludes this guide. Hopefully this really helped you, because I just want people to like understand HAWKEYE a little bit better, understand his best rotations, his best synergies, and how to perfect release. So yeah, let me know if this helped. Let me know if you want to see more guides from me, and yeah, that's about it from me.